And as a longtime fan of House, I can confidently say that the episodes House's Head and Wilson's Heart are among the best the series has ever produced. Having watched House for years, I've come to appreciate its gritty realism and emotional depth. And these two episodes deliver on both fronts in spades. It's a television series titled The House, which aired for 8 years on Fox and boasted an impressive 176 episodes, leaves the question of its top episodes intriguing. The show starred Hugh Laurie as the complex, self-destructive Dr. Gregory House, whose character was a fresh take on the classic Sherlock Holmes tales. The main character's surname, his close friend, Dr. James Wilson, nod to John Watson, and even House's apartment, 221B Baker Street, were clever references that underscored House's link to Sherlock Holmes. Intelligent and thoughtful, Dr. House boasts a principal cast that showcases a broad spectrum of depth and emotion, fueling the narrative and generating significant suspense. This series features a troubled genius who tests the patience of those around him and keeps them at arm's length to shield himself. But the most captivating episodes delve into his character under the relationships he values most. Among the numerous compelling tales, there are instances where the writers go above and beyond, crafting something extraordinary that stands out, elevating these stories to the highest echelon of the greatest House episodes ever produced. As a movie enthusiast, I must say that the pilot episode of All In is an engaging and enthralling watch. This installment skillfully blends the classic elements of mystery and weekly cases, but with a delightful twist. Instead of unfolding during ordinary working hours, the intrigue takes place amidst the glitz and glamour of a hospital's casino night, all charity event. This unexpected setting serves to keep viewers on their toes, adding an element of suspense and excitement that sets it apart from other episodes in the series. Apart from enriching the audience with a deeper understanding of the characters' personalities beyond just the medical mysteries, this storyline also creates an intensely suspenseful hour. Interestingly, one of those Cuddy's patients presents symptoms strikingly similar to those of a patient House had previously lost. Despite Cuddy's reluctance, House decides to secretly tackle the case, driven by his desire to comprehend where he might have erred in the past. As a movie buff, I must say this particular episode offers a fascinating glimpse into the initial tension between House and Cuddy. It subtly hints at the potential for friction in their relationship, not just with each other, but with anyone who gets too close to House. In 2008, the episode Frozen from the TV series House was selected to air following the Super Bowl. Typically, episodes aired after significant sporting events or major ones, often packed with intense drama. For the show House, it was also a creatively innovative choice. Due to extreme weather conditions, a research station scientist in the Antarctica is exhibiting unusual symptoms, making it impossible for her to travel. As a result, House and his team are using a webcam to diagnose her. This means she must either perform self-tests or rely on her fellow researchers at the station to administer them. Since the doctors can't physically be there, furthermore, the medical supplies available at the station are limited compared to what they would have in a hospital, making the testing process unconventional. When House gets to play outside of the standard hospital mystery box, it excels. In this fourth episode of the current season, House is looking for fresh team members. Since he's let go of his previous ones, he sets up a competition among candidates by separating them into two groups, men and women, whilst the contestants are engrossed in solving one case to determine who can find a treatment for a patient's symptoms quickly. House concentrates on an entirely different patient instead. The episode presents a whirlwind of disorder for House, as viewers find themselves juggling two distinct storylines. However, underlying both narratives is a deeper examination of death within the original medical profession. Simultaneously, House is assisting a patient seeking to recreate a prior brush with death, while the rest of the team works tirelessly to prevent another patient from reaching that precipice. First, in most episodes of House MD, even towards the end of the series, the action primarily unfolds within the hospital. Occasionally, scenes might shift to restaurants or a patient's restaurant's home, but generally speaking, the hospital is where the show is set. This particular episode stands out because it doesn't occur during regular working hours at the hospital for the main characters, which explains its unique title. The central narrative of the episode revolves around House, who discovers that a drug he's been using has led to the growth of tumors. In a misguided attempt to remove them on his own, he performs a makeshift surgery in his bathtub with predictably disastrous results. Eventually, he needs assistance from his team, but it's Cuddy who ultimately saves him. By focusing on the private lives of the primary characters, yet tying these stories back to a medical predicament faced by House, provides an innovative approach to storytelling, even in the 7th season of the series. In this specific installment of House, there's a lot of debate among fans about its quality, but it stands out as one of the finest due to the daring risks it takes. Following Cuddy's act of perjury during House's court testimony, she demands that he repays her by working at the hospital's clinic. Upon doing so, he encountered a woman who has been raped. Despite his attempts to transfer her case to another physician, she refuses and requests House's care instead. And he knows what we see in general. And the main part of this episode focuses on discussions between House and Eve, played by Catherine Winnick, concerning her personal situation. During these talks, she states, Germanic man has many of these new weapons, traumas, and surprisingly, House opens up about his own abusive childhood, a topic he rarely discusses with others, deviating from the typical structure of the show's episodes. As a passionate cinephile, I must say that throughout the run of House, there were several two-parters that truly shone among the rest, elevating the show to new heights. And Euphoria concludes one of the series' most nail-biting storylines, ratcheting up the tension and stakes higher than ever before. And the storyline unfolds as a sequel to a perplexing case earlier, where a patient came to House and his team with unusual symptoms that left House stunned until the patient's untimely demise. This episode marked an uncommon instance on the series where House failed to solve the mystery. Furthermore, it paves the way for a heart-wrenching climax as Foreman, played by Omar Epps, starts manifesting similar symptoms. Yet, in each installment of House is always a puzzling medical case at hand, but this time the stakes are raised as House finds himself in a race against time to save one of his closest associates. The plot masterfully puts House in a precarious situation where he risks losing someone precious if he doesn't crack the code on this particular conundrum. In this episode of House is a captivating mystery revolving around a ballerina who suddenly collapses during rehearsal. As the team investigates, they find themselves delving deeper into a system mid-length, and without making a question, these may evolve any case that becomes increasingly grim. However, it's not just this case that makes Under My Skin stand out, instead leading him to seek Cuddy's aid. And this decision sets off an unexpected chain of events. It's always interesting to see the vulnerable sides of House explored in this series, and this episode shows him finally admitting to a weakness that he cannot deal with on his own. However, the way in which the episode takes his relationship with Cuddy
makes it an even more memorable episode that sets the stage for something even better between the two prominent characters.
In every medical drama, there's often an episode involving a hostage situation in a hospital, which can sometimes feel like a tired trope, indicating the show might be running low on fresh ideas. Yet, Last Resort cleverly employs this somewhat exaggerated scenario to create a gripping episode filled with intriguing concepts. These ideas connect two popular characters within the series. The narrative revolves around a man frustrated with his persistent misdiagnoses by doctors and his desperate measures to compel House to diagnose him accurately. The idea that this man compels House to experiment on fellow hostage patients as test subjects to find his cure is a deeply troubling and intense concept. And in most episodes of House, Hugh Laurie's portrayal of House is the standout performance. However, in the impressive first season, an exceptional guest star, Sarah Clark, managed to outshine him in the episode Control. As the week's patient, she plays a powerful executive whose health issues puzzle House. The truth that unfolds towards the end, which House ultimately uncovers, creates a compelling climax. And all the realization dawns on House that the woman's critical health status is due to self-inflicted harm and an eating disorder, which renders her ineligible for necessary organ transplants. In a striking demonstration of his defiant yet empathetic nature, as a physician, he convinces the woman to struggle for her life despite her harmful actions, and deceitfully arranges her to receive the organ donations that she requires. In the episode Under My Skin, the choice to bring House and Cuddy closer together was somewhat daring, leaving many wondering how the series would handle this development. And the Cold Effort's subsequent episode, titled Both Sides Now, picks up the next day and starts shedding light on these changes. House appears more cheerful, having sought comfort from Cuddy and spending the night with her, yet he's irritated to find her treating the situation in a casual manner, and the storyline delves into the complex nature of House, revealing his tendency to provoke Cuddy in an attempt to force her to acknowledge their past. This portrays him as immature and vengeful. Yet the unfolding of the truth about what transpired serves as a poignant continuation from the last episode, offering a devastating disclosure that propels House's character on development. And despite experiencing its share of highs and lows throughout 8 captivating seasons, the series finale of House, titled Everybody Dies, stands out as one of the best episodes. The final episode of Season 8, in many ways, offers a satisfying conclusion to an exceptional series. The symmetry between the title mirroring the pilot's Everybody Lies and the episode is being directed by the chevalier de jour makes it an ideal farewell for the enigmatic character at the heart of the show. In the ongoing series, House consistently resists change and personal development. However, in a poignant twist, he ultimately embraces a fresh beginning and departs from the profession that hasn't defined him for most of his life. The way the storyline skillfully guides House through this decisive moment makes for an intelligent and fulfilling conclusion. In the final episode of the second season, House encountered a man whose life had been affected detrimentally due to House's harsh behavior and poor bedside manner. This encounter penetrated deep into House's inner self, marking one of the first instances where his human side was exposed, revealing his willingness to relinquish his arrogance and pride. The remainder of the show predominantly unfolds within House's mindscape, filled with gruesome hallucinations as he appears to engage in heated debates with an adversary. However, it's essential to write note that he isn't arguing with an external attacker. Rather, he's locked in a fierce internal dispute with himself, his most formidable foe. Similar to many medical procedural series, House eventually delved into investigating unusual cases that extended beyond hospital admissions. This specific episode adopted the narrative style of disaster movies, which is common in such shows. Later in the show's sixth season, episode 21, titled Help Me, follows the medical team as they work to rescue a group of individuals trapped inside a building after it suddenly collapsed. This episode is smartly crafted, sincere, and deeply moving as virtuous individuals endure hardships while striving to help others. However, even the most well-intentioned actions don't always yield positive results. And this episode powerfully illustrates that point. The cast delivers outstanding performances, with China Shavers portraying the main patient in the episode, delivering a particularly standout performance and exceptional installment. House started in some attendee findings. 7 billion people market in King Wild, and fighting in touch. And the episode started. A notable demonstration of the show's impressive storytelling prowess and creative flair is evident in the final episode of its first season. Specifically, House Season 1, Episode 21, titled Amphiphals.
In this episode, House conducts a lecture, sharing 3 narratives about patients with similar conditions. As these tales progress, they take surprising twists and turns, offering both the audience and the cast a deeper understanding of what drives the enigmatic character of House.
This episode not only garnered an Emmy for its exceptional writing, but it's clear to see why. It showcases the pinnacle of storytelling, embodying all that this series strives to achieve in its most impressive moments. Moreover, it offers Hugh Laurie some unforgettable scenes that truly highlight his character's unique charm and magnetism as a standout protagonist on television during the early stages of his role. Although House was often categorized with safer television shows of the time that didn't have the freedom to explore riskier storylines following the success of The Sopranos, he demonstrated a deep level of complexity and darkness.
As this series neared its conclusion, it seemed that House's future was becoming progressively grim. An episode that exemplifies this is The Crack C Word, which aired in House Season 8, Episode 19.
In this episode, it was Hugh Laurie himself who took the director's chair, revealing a softer side to House that seldom appears. House demonstrates deep concern for his closest friend, helping him navigate a life-threatening illness while testing experimental treatments. Despite their usual reckless behavior, the heartfelt bond and camaraderie between them is palpable, and House exhibits growth and empathy. The 4th episode of Season 5 offers an insightful look into the complexities of Gregory House and James Wilson, showcasing their vulnerability and stubbornness that are characteristic of them. In this particular episode, titled Birthmarks, we delve into their relationship as they embark on a journey to attend House's father's funeral, shedding light on their bond throughout the series. Although Wilson no longer works at the hospital and has distanced himself from his former friend, he once more takes a risk for them in their hour of need. This situation, as expected, leads to House causing mischief and acting childishly. However, the parallels and poignancy between the primary narrative and the subplot about parental trauma are skillfully portrayed. The intricate relationship between these two complex friends has always been a standout feature of the series, and this episode is a prime example of why. In the 11th episode of Season 1, House's Head, we delve deeper into the show's main character, Dr. House, and his struggle with Vicodin addiction. This is the first time the show portrays this issue as significant rather than trivial. In this episode, Cuddy and Wilson challenge House to demonstrate that his drug use is beyond his control, revealing him as a true addict. Despite typically being in command, it's intriguing to witness House grappling with his detox. Remarkably, he manages to retain a significant portion of his cognitive abilities and delves to the deepest levels of withdrawal. This situation mirrors elements of Sherlock Holmes, particularly modern adaptations that focus on his intellectual prowess and self-destructive tendencies towards medication. This episode serves as a crucial reminder of House's humanity. In Season 6, Episode 1, the exploration of Dr. House's psychological issues and his struggle with Vicodin addiction kicks off in an intense and captivating manner. Lin-Manuel Miranda joins the cast as House's roommate during a stay at a psychiatric facility. Once again, Lisa Edelstein delivers a remarkable performance. Although House willingly admitted himself, recognizing his problems, he remains stubborn and defiant towards change, even risking his medical license by ignoring orders. This particular 90-minute episode from Season 6 was exceptionally well received by viewers and served as a two-part story. The progression and climax of this plot line within this single episode, and this basically stands out as one of the most remarkable aspects during the series' duration. It's the kind of narrative arc that other shows might have stretched over an entire season, by how skillfully condensed it into a brief time frame. In the concluding episode of Season 4, split across two parts, titled House Episode 23, or Wilson's Heart, we witness an intense emotional roller coaster. This pivotal episode presents perhaps the most harrowing test to House and Wilson's friendship throughout the series, culminating in a heart-rending demise of a primary character. As House grapples with remembering the event that caused his best friend's girlfriend injuries, it becomes apparent he may hold crucial information needed for her recovery. In this particular episode, the house both literally and figuratively reveals its raw, gloomy side, capable of stirring intense emotions. Here, House removes his protective facade in a significant attempt to save his friend's life, but ultimately falls short and faces the consequences. The series sometimes makes you believe that House's genius will always prevail, but this episode maintains the tension by keeping the risks high. In this House's Head episode, airing just before the Season 4 finale, is not only exceptional, but also offers a captivating spectacle that invites repeated viewing. In this installment, House finds himself in a puzzling amnesiac state, meticulously reconstructing a mystery from the previous night. And the character finds himself in a predicament, and upon regaining consciousness, he must piece together the fragments in his mind to successfully unravel a mystery and save someone's life. And as a seasoned reader of mystery novels, I must say this storytelling is nothing short of exceptional. The dramatic foundation that underlies it adds a layer of intensity that keeps me hooked from start to finish. The writing and direction are impeccably crafted, creating an experience that feels polished and engaging throughout. While it may seem like a departure from the usual for House, this episode manages to encapsulate the essence of the show in a way that feels fresh yet true to its character. It provides a unique insight into House's relationship with his colleagues, as well as offering a glimpse into his internal conflicts. As someone who has watched many episodes of House, I can confidently say that this episode stands out as one of the most clever and thought-provoking installments in the series.